We know that magnet produces some magnetic field around it, due to which it attracts another magnetic particles. Hello everyone, myself Indu and I am your physics teacher. Today we are going to start magnetic effects of electric current, or you can say moving charges and magnetism. We all have played with magnets. We know that magnet produces some magnetic field around it, due to which it attracts another magnetic particles. Okay, but now there was a great discovery at that time, that is Oersted experiment. So before jumping directly to the conclusion of Oersted experiment, let us discuss some key points of that experiment. So I am going to take a wire that is carrying some electric current. Okay, let us have a wire that is having some electric current, and that is represented by I. You know that wire is always neutral. I am going to keep a point charge near this wire. Okay, suppose we are taking a point charge and I am keeping this charge at rest. What will happen? There is no effect of this wire on this charge, which gives us a hint that there is no presence of electric field around this wire. Because there is no effect on this charge, it is still at rest, it is not moving, it is not displaced. This means that there is no effect of this wire on this charge, because in electrostatics we know that electric field applies some force on point charge even when it is at rest, and this wire is neutral. So net electric field around this wire is zero. What will happen if I reverse the situation? If I am taking the same wire having the same electric current I, but now I am giving some velocity to this charge, and this is moving parallel to the direction of electric current. Now this charge is having some velocity v. It will show some deflection towards the wire. It will be deflected towards the wire. Why was this happening? Because there is no electric field around this wire. There is no presence of electric field around this wire, but still there is some kind of force acting on this charge when it is moving with some velocity v, and due to that force it is deflected towards this wire. Are you getting what I am trying to say? When this charge was at rest, it was still at rest. There was no effect of this wire on this charge. That means there is no electric field around this wire. But now if you are providing some velocity to this charge, it was deflected towards the wire. What will happen if I reverse the direction of velocity? Like suppose charge is now moving in the downward direction. The velocity is in the downward direction. It will be deflected away from the wire. Why was this happening? So this experiment was giving some hint about there is a presence of some kind of field around this wire that was applying some force on this charge, and that field was not electric field. We have already concluded that there is no electric field around this wire. So what kind of field is exerting some force on this charge? Now if I am replacing this point charge with a magnetic compass, this is any wire having any current, electric current I, and now I am putting a magnetic compass near this wire. Its needle was deflected. Its needle was deflected. And you know magnetic needle is deflected by magnetic fields. So this confirms that there is some magnetic field around this. So this result, Oersted's experiment, demonstrates that not only a magnet can produce magnetic field around it, but an electric current, but a wire having electric current can also produce some magnetic field around it, because this needle was deflected. This magnetic compass was showing deflection in its needle, and same result we were getting from this charge. When this charge was moving with some particular velocity, there was some force acting on it, due to which it was deflected towards the wire, or in another situation away from the wire. So some kind of force is present here, and that force is due to magnetic field. So the result says that Oersted's experiment demonstrates that not only magnet can produce magnetic field, but also a current carrying wire. Current carrying wire produce magnetic field. Current carrying wire means you can say moving charges. Okay, when the charge was at rest, it cannot produce magnetic field, but if it is moving, that is equals to current. So that current can also produce some magnetic field around it. This was the result of Oster's experiment, and that was a great discovery of that time, because magnetic field of magnet is fixed. But if we want to have a large amount of magnetic field, then we can get this from using a wire, because now a wire can also produce a high amount of magnetic field. Okay, so now let us discuss about magnetic field. It is represented by capital V. It is a vector quantity. You know what are vectors? Which have direction, which have magnitude plus direction as well. So I will say it is represented by B vector. It is measured in Tesla. SI unit of magnetic field is Tesla. So now if you want to find out the magnetic field, you know now there is a magnetic field around the wire. But what will happen if I want to know the strength of that magnetic field? Like you want to know the amount of the strength of magnetic field. So here comes the Biot-Savart law. Biot-Savart's law. I am taking any current carrying wire. Suppose the current is flowing in this wire is I. Okay, and this is of any shape. It can be circular, it can be a straight wire, it can be wounded in rectangle. Okay, just I am taking a wire in which current I is flowing. So Biot-Savart law states that magnetic field around any wire at any particular, suppose this is the point P at which I want to know the strength of that magnetic field. So I am taking some distance R. It is at some distance R from the axis of that wire. Okay, so I am taking now a small length element of this wire. Suppose this is my wire. Okay, this is behaving like a wire. So I am not taking the whole wire. Biot-Savart law gives the value of small magnetic field. Like I am taking a small length element of this wire. This is a small length of this portion. This is a small length portion of this whole wire, and this is DL. And if this whole wire is carrying some amount of current I, so this small portion of wire will be having a small amount of current, and I am representing that current as DI. If the net magnetic field due to this whole wire, due to the whole current I is capital B, so the total magnetic field due to this small current carrying element will be dB. It is dB. Okay, so Biot-Savart law states that the magnetic field of a current carrying wire due to a small segment, due to a small length segment of length DL having a small current DI is small magnetic field dB is represented by this result. I am writing this result firstly in vector form. This is the result of Biot-Savart law in vector form. You can also write this thing. You can also write this result in this form. This is in vector form. Okay, so I will tell you about the terms involved in this result. But firstly, what is this result? If you want to find out the magnetic field of any electric current, of any wire having electric current I, then we are going to use Biot-Savart law. This law gives the result of a small magnetic field of a particular wire of small portion of its length having a small current Di. So its magnetic field be a small amount which is represented by dB. So this dB is equals to mu naught upon 4 pi I into dl cross r vector. This is in vector form, or you can write this like mu naught I dl sin theta by 4 pi r square, where you can see that theta is angle between its distance and the axis of wire. This is the theta. You can see that r is the distance which is connecting this point with the axis of this wire. So r is the position vector and theta is the angle between this position vector and the axis of the wire. Okay, so Biot-Savart law, the result of the Biot-Savart law states that magnetic field, small magnetic field due to a small current carrying element The small current carrying element Di is equals to this, or you can say this. Okay, so now if I want to find out the magnetic field due to this complete wire, like I was taking this, suppose this pen is a wire, and Biot-Savart law gives the value of magnetic field only of a particular length element, like in the portion, this portion only, a small length element. So if you want to find out the magnetic field through this whole wire, what will you do? Obviously you are going to integrate this dB. Okay, to find the net amount of magnetic field, I am going to integrate this small magnetic field. That's it. This is how I can apply Biot-Savart law to calculate any type of magnetic field, like for any shape of wire, like it can be a straight wire, it can be a circular wire, or you can bound that wire in rectangle or square, whatever it can be, whatever the shape can be. So I can directly apply the result of Biot-Savart law, and I can integrate this small magnetic field to find out the net magnetic field, because this is a small, let me write this thing, this is representing small magnetic field, and this is the magnetic field of a small portion, because this current I is for the whole of wire, but this small length is having small amount of current Di, and that is having a small amount of current, a small amount of field, that is magnetic field. Okay, so there is one important point on this Biot-Savart law. If you want to find out magnetic field at any point that is lying on the axis of wire, suppose this is a straight wire, okay, and it is having an electric current I, and I want to find out the magnetic field at this point. You can see that this point P is itself lying on the axis of wire. So according to the result of Biot-Savart law, mu naught upon 4 pi I dl sine theta upon r square, I can see that theta here is 0 degree, because theta was the angle that its position vector r was making with the axis of the wire. But now the point is lying on the axis of wire, so theta here is 0 degree. So you know sine 0 is 0. So I am getting a 0 magnetic field due to this current carrying wire. Suppose this is my wire, okay, this is my straight wire, and I know if it is having some electric current, I know there is some presence of magnetic field around this wire. Now we get it, okay. But if you want to find out at any point, but that is lying on the axis, suppose this is the P point at which I want to find out the magnetic field. So if I am using the result of Biot-Savart law, I can see that at this point theta between its position vector and its axis is 0. Obviously it is at the axis. So theta is 0 here and sine 0 is 0. So I am getting a 0 magnetic field. So important point is that magnetic field at any axial point, or magnetic field at the axis of wire is always 0. Magnetic field at any point on the axis of wire is always 0. Okay, so now you may be wondering what is this mu naught, because now you are aware of the remaining terms like what is theta, what is r, what is dl. Okay, mu naught is permeability. Like you have read about permittivity in electrostatics, so this is permeability. So if you want to see, there is a dot, this is mu naught, this is representing permeability of air, or you can say free space. This mu naught is representing permeability of air, or you can say free space. But if you are putting that wire in some medium, then it will be changed to permeability of that medium, which is represented by mu m. So it is permeability of that particular medium. The same concept which you have done in electrostatics, there was permittivity. Okay, I think all terms are cleared. And mu naught is permeability. You know what is 4 pi? I is the total current of this wire, and r is the net distance of this point from the axis of wire, and theta is that angle what this axis is making with this distance. Okay, so now if I move to the direction of magnetic field, because we just know that magnetic field is a vector quantity. So vectors are those quantities which has magnitude plus direction. So if I talk about how can I represent the direction of magnetic field, obviously from this formula you can tell that magnetic field will be given by the cross product of this result. Like if you will do cross product of DL, this length element, and this R vector, obviously you can get that result. But it will be easy for you if you are using right hand rule, right hand thumb rule. What is this rule? Okay. So you just have to hold that conductor in your right hand and your thumb will be pointing in the direction of current and curl of fingers will be giving the direction of magnetic field. Okay. Suppose this pen is a wire which is having some particular amount of current. I am holding this current by my right hand. Okay. And I am taking, suppose this is my straight wire. Suppose this is a straight wire and an electric current is flowing in this wire that is in the upward direction. So I am replacing this wire by this pen and I am imagining, imagining that there is some amount of current that is flowing in the upward direction. So what will happen? Right hand rule states that hold your conductor like this, hold that conductor in your right hand like this. Your thumb will be pointing in the direction of current and curl of fingers. These curl of fingers are going to tell you the direction of magnetic field. Okay, so if you are taking the direction of current in upward direction, then I am aligning my thumb parallel to it. And you can see these curl of fingers are giving me the direction of magnetic field and they are forming concentric circles around this wire. So magnetic field according to right hand thumb rule, magnetic field due to a straight wire is concentric circular rings around this wire, because you have to just hold this conductor like this and current is flowing in upward direction. That is why thumb is also pointing in the upward direction and the curl of fingers is giving me the direction of field. So I can say that the magnetic field around this wire are concentric circular rings, and you can see that these rings are like this, anti-clockwise direction. It is wrapped around this conductor in anti-clockwise direction. Are you getting? In anti-clockwise. This direction is very, very important. In magnetism, direction plays a very important role. So it is wrapped around this conductor in anti-clockwise direction. So I will say like this. But if you are reversing the direction of electric current here, now I am taking a straight wire, but my current is flowing in the downward direction. My current I is flowing in the downward direction. So what will happen now? I will hold this conductor in my right hand, but now the current is in the downward direction. So this thumb will point in the direction of current. So now I am keeping the thumb in the downward direction. And what will you say? Obviously, they are still in circular shape. Magnetic field lines are still in circular shape. Magnetic field due to a straight wire is in the form of circular rings. But now you can see that they are clockwise direction. They are in clockwise sense. If the current is flowing in the downward direction, magnetic field around this wire are forming concentric circles and in the clockwise sense. So I can tell that magnetic field lines are like this. Clockwise sense, like this. So there are magnetic field lines and which are present around that wire in circular shape. If you want to find out the magnetic field at a particular point, you have to draw tangents on the circle. If I want to find out the direction of at any point on the circle, I have to draw a tangent at that point. So if I take this case, if I am taking this one, then this is circle that is in clockwise sense. So if I am taking, suppose this is the point, okay, this is the circle that is in clockwise sense and this is the point at which I want to find out the direction of magnetic field. Obviously around the wire in surrounding region it is circle, but at one particular point you have to draw tangent. So the tangent of this circle, this is the circle, you have to do it at your own. Okay, so this is the circle and just by drawing the tangent I am getting that magnetic field is going into this board. They are going inside this plane like this. They are going inside this plane. Okay, so perpendicularly inward direction. Oh, okay, firstly let me tell you there are two notations in the chapter. If you are taking the two perpendiculars of this board, one is in the outward direction and another perpendicular is inside the direction, inside the plane. So there are two notations. One is represented by dot, which is saying outward perpendicular, which is representing outward perpendicular, and inward perpendicular is represented by this cross. So for this wire, if current is flowing in the downward direction, I am getting magnetic field in clockwise sense. If I want to find out the magnetic field at this particular point, so I can see that my perpendicular is going, my tangent is pointing in the perpendicular direction, that is inside the plane. So I will say inward perpendicular is cross. So I will say magnetic field in the left region of this wire is pointing in the inward direction, perpendicularly inward direction, which is represented by this cross. Now if you want to find out the direction of magnetic field at this point, so you have to take the tangent at this point and it will be like this. So perpendicular, which is coming towards you outside this plane, and that is represented by this dot. So in the right region of this wire, magnetic field lines are perpendicularly coming outward. They are coming outwards perpendicularly of this plane. So this right hand thumb rule is very, very important. First thing is that you have to just hold that conductor and your thumb will give the direction of electric current and curl of fingers will give you the direction of magnetic field. So you have to just check whether it is in clockwise sense or in anti-clockwise sense. So by drawing tangents, you can check the direction at particular point, direction of magnetic field at particular point. So let me write this rule. Your thumb is going to represent direction of current and curl of fingers is going to tell you direction of magnetic field. And strength of magnetic field due to that current carrying wire will be given by the Biot-Savart law. And Biot-Savart law gives only small magnetic field due to that small electric current, due to that small length element. So to calculate the net amount due to that whole wire, you have to just integrate that small magnetic field. That's it. Okay. So that's it for today. I hope you will like this lecture. Thank you so much.